Hey, it's Josh. Welcome to Clarity Cafe. We've moved it to Saturday at 11. So this is episode number quattro, 4. And just rearranging things, still testing things out. How are you? What's going on? So I was thinking about today, I was actually trying to put together a presentation. Perhaps what I'll do is I'll unload the presentation after I complete this. I'll upload the link and stuff. But what I thought to talk about, or was thinking about it, unless someone jumps on, is I was going to talk all about two things. Actually, Dr. Jack Kruse, a neurosurgeon, it's come to my attention. Some people that I've been talking to recently, it's about when you go shopping, right? Something to think about with foods. And, when we're looking at expanding consciousness, awareness, and everything that we talk about, right, or that I've been sharing in this sort of theme, right, with consciousness, awareness, using intuition, telepathy, all of our sort of psychic innate abilities and gifts that we're born with, right? You've got them. You may not know them, but you've got them. And so it all depends also based on the types of sustenance we take in, from things from the liquids we drink to the foods to the supplements to exercise, magnetism, getting out in nature, connection. And those are the things that really invigorate us, and they help us to expand and become more aware and deepen our connection to the all that is all around us, right? The things unseen and the spaces in between, as I like to say. So the point I'm bringing up is two of the things I wanted to talk about that Jack Kruse talked about that I think really plays a big role in today's reality and society that no one really talks about or thinks about, is that it's like, let me just shut this down, is that think about when you go shopping, you go to, the market, right? And you go in to get the produce or most of the products that are exposed. Think about this. Everything is grown under the canopy of the sunlight, right? From, if you're vegan, vegetarian, you're macro, whatever your flavor of the month is, whatever the label you use to identify with what you eat or don't eat. But everything grows under the canopy of full spectrum sunlight, invisible, near infrared, and invisible light. Okay? Those light frequencies embed into the very sustenance of what you take into your body. It's coded, right? It's got code. And what does that code do? That code, once you take it in, whether through visually, smelling it, tasting it, however you ingest it, it actually activates many different components, let's just say within your neurology. And again, as I say, as above, so is below. So energetically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically, the 5 pillars. So what I'm getting at is when you go into a store and you go and you look at, the produce, I've always noticed this, all those lights are LED lights, light emitting diodes. Now, there's different diodes and there's different nanometers of spectrum. And if you use a sort of spectrometer, there's different, I don't have the device, but there's a device that can show you the light spectrum and then the dither rate or the flicker rate. That flicker rate, first and foremost, when you go into the produce section of nearly any produce place, okay, any market, you name it, they all have either fluorescent lights or LED lights. What does that do? That kills nitrogen and hydrogen. Okay, those are the very elements that bring life when they're out in the garden, when they're out in nature, hopefully, without any pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, all that crap. That brings life, right? When you have these things under artificial light, you deplete them. So that organic celery, basil, parsley, dill, cilantro, cabbage, lettuce, carrots, all the things you find there, they're getting depleted. So whenever I go shop, just a little tip, I always grab things from the back. I never get it where if it's exposed to direct to the light. Why is that important? Light is a form of communication, right? Living light, not, you know, not, hold on one sec. Yes. Yes. So it's quite crazy, and most people don't know that. So when they're going and they are, how do I say it? They are consuming those foods. You get these foods home, you prepare them, you clean them, you do all these things, but a lot of the energy, and I don't have just my intuition and just based on my own interaction and what I can tell. If you go to a farm, an organic farmer, and you buy, say, a head of romaine lettuce or lettuce, carrots, and then you go and you take that food, you can even muscle test this, okay? Muscle testing is a thing. I know some people think, yeah, it's poo-poo, foo-foo, woo-woo, bullshit, but it's not. Your body is an instrument. I've always said it's a metagalactic, fine-tuned instrument. It senses, it feels, it transmits, it receives. It's like this. It's an intergalactic cosmic beacon. That's right. Your vessel, your physical body, when it's fine-tuned and it's aligned, you are picking up and transmitting frequencies and signals, and it's amazing what the body can do. And I've not nearly begun to scratch the surface, like just in my own intuitive abilities, right? See, sense, feel, and hear, and sometimes smell or taste, right? But I didn't take any formal classes in this life. This is incarnationally. So this is kind of where I separate the people that don't follow that. That's okay. No problem. Anyway, getting back to the light. So light and sound. Okay. And one of the things that you'll see a lot is that the light coming from. So when you think about the light and all of that, right? You should be able to have foods, the sustenance coming in from the food. You can feel the difference. That's what I was talking about, kinesiology. So you should be able to pick up the frequencies and energy in your body when it's fine-tuned, can sense that. You can sense the difference between an organic carrot that's been sitting under LED light at a market versus a freshly picked carrot, or relatively freshly picked, that's been out at an organic farm under the canopy of full spectrum sunlight. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the thing that I want to talk about is all of these tests. You may be seeing these over the years, right? Now more days. Here we go. All right. You guys there? Hello, hello. Hey.
There we are.
Hey, there you are. Hey, hey, hey.
I don't know what I was doing wrong, but
It's okay. It's okay. I've been just chatting. It's funny. The topic of discussion today is about the lights at the produce section in in not only markets but farming. Between the difference between sunlight outdoors, getting something from an organic farm versus light coming from LED lights, any market you go to, right? Because it robs nitrogen and hydrogen, which you're obviously completely aware of. So you guys are the only one on the call. Thank you. Congrats for showing up. What
Thank
up,
you,
Jay?
brother. Thank you
Hey.
for being here.
Yeah. So again, I'm recording this, so just so you know, 'cause but I
So
can
should I put a shirt
edit.
on?
What's up?
Am I dressed inappropriately? Is that what you're trying to
You
say?
can do whatever. You can be whoever you are. This is
it's
awesome.
80 something degrees outside. We have the
Who
windows
cares?
down.
Yeah. I don't care. It's the way it is. So I had to rearrange because my office is like a cave, and the way the angle of the sun is, like, you guys have sun coming through the back. I don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but the topic is, just telling Diana, the topic of that I came up with was about lighting. I'm actually kind of going back into Jack Kruse's whole thing that he did years ago. He did an interview with Jason Prahl. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's an interesting guy, but we were talking about LED lights in markets, right? And how that robs nitrogen. There's been a theme that I've had through all my Clarity Cafes, the last three, related to intuition, your psychic abilities, just you're sort of a metagalactic amplifier. Everybody is, whether you can transmit, receive, right? It all has to do with as above, so is below, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and finally physically. And that when people go and they shop and they get foods versus if you go to a fresh organic farm or your own farm and you grow foods under full canopy sunlight, near infrared, far infrared, visible, right? The full spectrum of light is transmitting code into those vegetables and into the food. And when you go to, say, Whole Paycheck or Whole Foods or whatever, and right, you buy those carrots or that broccoli or the celery or whatever it is, but your body, if I gave you an organic beet that was just pulled out of the sun under the full canopy sunlight, versus, I go to the store and I pull that out and, I weigh those two out, you're going to see that the energy is obviously more potent direct from the earth, negative ions under the full canopy of sunlight versus pulling it out once he takes it out of that box and it's fresh and everything, right? So I just think that's important for people to know because, everyone's scrambling, or a lot of people are scrambling, trying to figure out where to get the hippest, quickest, cleanest, most potent nutrition that they can versus opting for supplements. Yes, those can come in, but they're secondary, right? They're not priority. And second to that is all these tests that we've seen over the years, right? With rats and mice, which I think is a metaphor for the way the system looks at humanity. We're like rats, So, like rats and mice have scotopic retinas, meaning that they're nocturnal. We're diurnal, so we're daytime. So the way that is someone knocking? I don't know. I think someone's banging Chase in the other room bangs. Never a dull moment. So the way we receive light is really different than the way it like those tests. What I'm getting at is those tests are inconclusive. They mean nothing. And the same thing with laboratories. The light in laboratories, all laboratories have LED lights. So you think about those high-powered microscopes that they use to test and analyze and see certain nutrients within whatever they're looking at, but they're not really able to do that because the lighting in the laboratory is LED light, which literally is like a veil that doesn't allow for the microscope to really see. Like Rife had a microscope that was phenomenal. You'd see live virus or bacteria, I wouldn't say viruses. But anyway, that's been what I've been chatting about. If you care to,
I remember. Sorry to interrupt. I remember an interesting share several years back. You had with me with was it John Otto?
Yeah, John Ott. Yeah,
John Ott.
Health and Light. Yeah,
I
he's
think.
The one.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I don't. You could articulate better than myself because I have a faint memory. So
all good. Yeah, John Ott. He basically he wrote a book called Health and Light, which I have somewhere. It's actually right here in front of me.
Look at that.
Check that out.
There it is. Right. And if you go online, it's actually you can't. I mean, these books are probably $500.
Yeah,
it's
it
out
looks
of
like
print.
the Thomas Train from.
Yeah, it's like the Thomas Train image. Exactly. It's like a classic image. But yeah, I mean, I have so much stuff. I've like highlighted so many things. But what's interesting about John Ott, among many things, and he's got a few books. He's got the Ivory Cellar or something like that. There's a couple of books. You can probably find them online. I'll put a link because I actually have this as a PDF that I'll put on as a link here. So for those watching on YouTube, and yeah, you're going to be on YouTube. You're going to be YouTube stars. If you're okay with that. If not, I can edit it out. So
should have put a shirt on.
Yeah, dude, it's all good. Trust me. So, but he moved from Chicago to Sarasota, and the cool thing, and there's an actual. I'm going to put the link here too with the video. So this turned out to be great. Go ahead.
What? Who did? Who moved?
John Ott, the author. He moved from Chicago to Sarasota.
Good move.
No way.
Yeah. And this was back in like I think it was the 50s or 40s. And what he did, there's actually a video, I forget the name of it. It's called Exploring the Spectrum with John Ott. It's like a 2-hour video. It's like one of those Walt Disney kind of things, because what John Ott did was he did time-lapse photography with flowers. And he tested all of these things with different light spectrum. And what he found was when plants were exposed to certain lights, they would either die, they wouldn't grow. And when he did full spectrum light, they blossomed. Mm-hmm. So he took this test, he took the sort of model that he had, and he brought it to a classroom in Sarasota. And in this video called Exploring the Sunlight or Exploring the Spectrum, he has a video camera on a classroom, and there's a couple of kids that nowadays you would be labeled as ADD or disruptive or out on the spectrum, like all these fucking labels that they have for kids that that's a whole other thing, because they're putting this encryption, an energetic label, like, oh, your child is this and that, you need Ritalin, yada, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And so, so what he did was, they open the lights or the windows to let, because the sunlight rides on the air. So the spectrum, even though you have glass, because most glass in homes blocks the actual vitamin D component that creates calcium, open up the calcium ion channels, if I recall correctly, and create sulfation of vitamin D, like where your body makes it endogenously. Okay. And so if you are going to be in this, like say the sun's coming through your window right now, and you want to get sunlight, you would need to open the window to actually get the air coming through, right? Even though you feel the frequency of the sunlight coming in, to get the benefit, you need to open up the window. So anyway, what John did in the classroom is, this kid was always hyperactive and moving around. They actually removed the fluorescent ballast. They took out the ballast, they took out the fluorescent lights. Two things they did: they took out the fluorescent lights and they replaced it with full spectrum light bulbs, and they opened the windows in the classroom. They recorded it, and then that child that was disruptive ended up voluntarily moving to the front of the classroom and would raise his hand, would be cooperative, and was just totally calm.
Yeah, I've seen videos on that, like the difference between even just having the lights off and having the lights on, those fluorescent or LED lights or whatever, having the kids way more fidgety, way more twitchy, not paying attention.
That's right. I remember there were some teachers that would shut the lights off for whatever reason, and it only ever had a positive effect.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, I remember sometimes there would be like nap time or something, like in the classroom, and she'd shut the lights off or whatever, or we'd play that game 7-Up. Do you ever play 7-Up? Do you remember that? So you put your head down on your desk and you had your thumb up, right? And you didn't look, but someone couldn't down and then they'd all line up in the front of the classroom, and you had to guess who put your thumb down.
Did you not play that?
It's vaguely familiar. I have a lot of memories from childhood. I try not to remember too much.
I did that, and speaking of which, that was like a telepathic thing, right? Because you're trying to like tune in to who is the person. And I would do pretty good, I think. I don't know, maybe out of 7 times, I'd guess maybe 4 out of the 7 that did it without cheating, like I saw you kind of thing. But anyway, that's John Ott. That's one of the things he's done, and he minus the 7-Up game. I don't know. I don't know if he played that. Maybe he did. Not sure. But yeah,
that was it had a lasting impression. I mean, you shared that with me probably 8 years ago, and I still recalled, at least his name. I paid attention in a long time. I probably should, but it was great. I remember there was a video that actually showed some of the time lapse effects on the plants. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, it was very sped up because it was over the course of weeks, even months, and it's interesting. It was interesting.
I mean, just thinking about camera technology that was then, but the fact that he just endeavored to do that, and he took like these colored gels, like he had pink he found with plants or with rats, they would end up getting tumors on their tails or something with pink. And then you cross that over with the pink campaign for women's breast cancer, right? And then they use that little symbol, that little bow. Well, that's an encryption. And where do they put it? Right on the boob. I mean, like, talk about putting it right in front of your face.
Digital magic.
Yeah. I mean, it is sigil magic. It's like they put it there, and like, oh, the Susan Komen Foundation, right? Biggest bullshit front organization on planet Earth. Yeah. And so pink has been that color, and pink. But it's the color spectrum, and every color has a resonance to, it lines with the 7 primary chakras, but then there's a whole other area we can go into, which are 15 morphogenetic chakras that are beyond the 7 primary. But that's a video for another day. And yeah, cool stuff. Yeah.
So is there let me adjust that, for the scientismists, that's the correct term.
Like a pessimist, but a scientismist.
Yes, indeed. I was going with more of like the cult of scientism, but is there a way that has been quantifiably measured or measured quantifiably as to the impact of artificial light versus natural light? Are they able to measure that?
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, there's devices now. I actually want to get one. There's like, when photographers use to check lighting for environments, it's like, I think it's not a spectrometer, but it basically can measure, like you can go in any room and hold it up, right? Because they need to do it for lighting. And it'll show you the different color spectrums. So if you've got near infrared, far infrared, what the light spectrum is versus like if I go into a lab and it's all just LED lights, it'll just be all blue. You'll see blue light.
Yes, apologies. I meant more specifically the impact it had on biology.
Yeah.
Like biophotonic quantification, if there is such a thing.
There's data, and you bring up a good point. I can actually bring that up. There are studies that show that how it affects mood, obviously seasonal affective disorder, right? For those that are in the upper latitudes that don't get as much exposure to sunlight, and how it lowers dopamine, beta endorphins. So it has a direct correlation. That's what you're talking about, right?
Absolutely. Which I believe we all know this. Subjectively, anecdotally, we all experience this. But there's always the people that need the hard material evidence, and therefore, would there be a way to measure that? Say, if I had this pomegranate here, and I put it out in the sunlight for 24 hours versus put it in underneath some fluorescent lights for 24 hours, are you able to see in some measurable capacity the biophotonic, say, energy that would be?
I believe so. I mean, it's sort of like Kirlian photography, like, with an aura. So I would think that, I don't know the exact device to measure that, but yeah, the photons, the energy coming off of it, I think is definitely, like, I just got this device, which is really cool. It's called a plant wave. I've been wanting to get it for you. Have you heard of it?
No, I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm actually waiting for my I'm forming a collaboration affiliate with the company. Yeah, Plant Wave. You can go on their website. Really cool. So it's a device. It has these nodes. These you can attach to plant leaves or even to mycelium, to mushrooms, and they have all these pulses. And so it converts. They have like these MIDI overlays, and it plays music. So you can hear the plants sing. Basically, it's converting the signals, the impulse signals that it has, and they've done tests with them like during the winter, during the early rising, during the evening. And I have some recordings, which I can actually, I'll do this really quick. This is pretty cool. But again, this is the plant communicating, in a sense. It's like these patches go on with bigger leaves, and the songs are pretty, I don't know if you can hear this if I play it, because I've got my headphones on, but we'll see what we can do. But I recorded this, and the music is really, it's quite phenomenal. I just have
Makes
to
me
find
think of the. Was there a movie with singing Venus flytraps? Am I imagining that?
No, they actually did that with they recorded it with a Venus flytrap. They did it with coconuts. They've done it with papaya, even with fruit, like that's been picked off the tree. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so let's see.
There was a movie back in the day where the Venus flytraps became sentient and started eating people.
Yeah, it was.
Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, hold on a second. Me.
Your volume up?
Can you hear that?
Very
little.
faintly.
It's kind of.
I think it's like the noise canceling is trying to cancel it out. So.
Looks like. Man, come on. Here we go. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll upload the track when I finish this. I'm going to upload the track as something, and if people want to purchase the item, they can. It's about $300 for the device, but I've been wanting to get it for a long, long time. In fact, I'll show you.
This is plant wave, right?
Yeah.
So this is the device, right? And you just sort of plug it in, kind of give you, it's got like these little patches.
Okay.
It plugs into the top, right? And then you kind of turn it on, it powers on. I'm not going to do it because I don't have a plant. Right, there you go. So the LED lights work when it's playing, but it plays through like your Bluetooth, or you can listen to it on your phone. But this is it. This is the device. And they've done MIDI orchestras with this, like where they have multiple different plants and then people are playing some cool stuff. Right?
That's incredible.
I feel like I need to see it in action. Yeah.
And I love this thing. And then you can buy, like they have, so these patches, right? You just peel these up and place them on the leaves, and they show you how to. Can you hear me okay? Because I don't have my headphones. Kind of like the technology department. Got to get. So
you just got your video.
What's that?
Golden oldies with.
That's right. Sound like an AM radio.
Yeah.
Now for the latest. So anyway, there's so you have these patches, and then you've got what else? There's some cool clips here. So these, that's not it. I'm all discombobulated. Anyway, I've got a lot of cords here that comes with it. So
no, that's
cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm having a hard time conceptualizing. I feel like I need to see it in action.
Go on the website, you'll see, and it's really cool. This guy Joe Paolucci designed it. It's really cool. And then there's like all of these like MIDI, like, because it's all a signal. The plant is putting out a signal, but then the signal is converted into musical tones. You have bass tones, overtones, middle tones. Yeah, it's cool. I've just wanted to get this thing, but it's great because the music is so peaceful. You know, they have Celestial. He has all these different templates: Celestial Being, Emerald Awakening, all different names. But it beats listening to the crap we hear on FM at 440 megahertz, which is, this is like you're listening to the plant kingdom. And I know,
yeah. I need to see that in action. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'll show it to you guys next time we get together a year from now. No, I'm just kidding. In a week.
I mean, you're too busy for us. I understand.
Oh, no. I get it.
Plant wave.
So, so that's cool. But all of this, I think, is intertwined. So the other thing too, like I was saying with the, that we got into with John Ott and, the thing that Dr. Jack Kruse talks about, which I've been trying to find this interview. This was an interview. Oh, you got a cover? Oh, okay.
No, I'm wondering why you look so high def and we look like a bunch of.
I think it's
me high def. I got like no lighting here.
I think we need like front lighting, and that's why it's just green.
Oh, so if you flipped it, if you guys are standing in front of your, I don't know if that's a door or window right there.
Yeah, if we went to the office, it would be better. But
yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I was talking about lighting and food and the retinas from rats and mice. And it's just interesting when Jack brought that up. I saw this interview he did with this guy, Jason Prawl, and it was like I never really considered that. Like all the tests from rats and why, like I never really studied biology, or at least animal husbandry as to why they do that. But now they're banning all these tests, right? You see, not tested on animals, whether it's a cow, a rat, a mice, a dog, a cat, supposedly. But especially with rats and mice, which are nocturnal creatures, and we're not awake during the night, at least for the most part of humanity. So the fact that they can draw conclusions from rats and mice and equate it to humans, like we tested it on rats and mice. Oh, by the way, which we consider you like, right?
No, I find it interesting how this is interesting that we're talking about that, because we had an electrician here yesterday putting in a light fixture in the office because there wasn't one, and they just immediately put in an LED can, like instantly. And I go, yeah, it wasn't a problem, because I'm like, I'm gonna replace it with an actual light fixture and put in an bulb immediately before I even use it. And just the general public is so unaware of how they think LED lights are great. They're cost effective and nobody knows. And this electrician was kind of like, what are you talking about? You know? And it's interesting how we're talking about this now. And this was literally yesterday.
Wow.
And
when he asked us, I know you guys are concerned about EMFs. What I wasn't there for what prompted him to say that.
Because LED lights emit EMF.
I know that, but why?
Because I said that to him. I was saying, hey, generally we shouldn't be using these. You shouldn't be using them for your own sake. You know,
exactly.
So I tell him, and he goes, yeah, I could see that, but
he wasn't.
But I don't buy it anyway. I'm just gonna fucking do it.
He wasn't a walking billboard for health and well-being. I mean, he was like 30 going on 70 basically. So
oh man, and that's the problem, mate. Like most of these guys, based on their training, it's like doctors, right? Someone like me or anybody else in the whatever health and wellness world comes along and talks about this stuff, and it's like let's see, we're at for time. I don't want to go too long. I don't want to keep you guys if you guys have to go as well. But yeah, they're it's like, think of it this way, it's like cognitive dissonance. If they start talking and discover these things, now they're the outlier in their collective beehive mentality. And so I think I challenge the person, anybody watching this, whether on school or YouTube, to like think outside the box, to go, if you are an electrician, if you are a plumber, I mean, just look at outside the education that you've been indoctrinated into, to consider other options of things, not just, because if anything, it's going to expand you, right? It's not about me or us talking about this being right or you're wrong. It's just like, perhaps there's things that you've never considered or were ever shown. And wouldn't that make you go, why? Right? Why wasn't I told about this? Oh, I was told, yeah, it's going to save energy. Oh, it's energy efficient. It's like the greenwashing bullshit and the planet. It's like solar. Let me get solar. Well, what about the materials with solar and all that crap? And what's it doing to the atmosphere? But anyway, it's like everyone's in a box.
Well, I would challenge anybody. I'm sure you mentioned prior to us joining the stream, the incandescent bulbs versus, maybe you didn't, but fluorescent bulbs.
No,
bulbs.
It was where I was heading with John Ott. Yeah, the incandescent bulbs, obviously using sunlight, candlelight, and the Edison bulbs that have the tungsten in it. Not because if you go on Amazon now, there are places you can go. I mean, everyone's saying, there's like these fear mongers, like they're getting rid of Edison bulbs. They're pulling air out of the environment. You can't breathe anymore. Here, let me sell you this bottle of air. It's like.
Well, I would love to challenge anybody to who is a skeptic. Try to look at try to look at an LED light for 60 seconds, even 30 seconds. Try to stare at it. 10 seconds. Just try to stare at it, and then do the same with an incandescent bulb.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me which one you'd rather have.
Yeah.
I think that's great. That's a perfect test, and I think too, potentially a lot of people that are in front of those light bulbs all of the time, and then they get like, it's like, if you're indoors in an office or you're indoors all the time for whatever reason, depending on where you live, obviously we're in Florida, so go outside in the AM, right? Anytime before, say, solar noon, which right now is probably 12:30, 1 o'clock, and just get that sunlight for like even a minute in your eyes and just see how you feel. Because all of a sudden it's going to activate your compound pharmacy, those dopamine chemicals, those beta endorphins, like, right?
I like that.
That's it. It's like, because that flicker rate, if you take your phone, I've seen somebody do this, if you take whatever type of phone you have, and you put it in the camera function, and you put it in slow motion, and you film the light, you will actually catch the flickering going on.
That's weird that you say that, because I was explaining that to the electrician yesterday. He goes, oh no, they only flicker when it's bad. I go, no. They flicker faster than your eyes can perceive them, but they are constantly flickering.
Will it flicker if I just put it in front of the camera? You can look at my pug bird.
No.
Yeah, that a bird with
a pug bird.
AI freaking
My new pet.
That looks like Brewski. Brewski's next incarnation.
That's right, brother. He's got wings now. He's
That's funny.
flying high.
Oh wow. But yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like the light makes all the difference. Light and sound, magnetism. And I think, yeah, I was doing this presentation I was going to put together. I think I'll have a lot to upload with this video. I've got a backlog of videos I've got to upload here on YouTube. So those of you that are seeing this on YouTube now or in 20 years from now, drop some comments below, like
They won't be
questions.
able to afford watching this anymore. They'll be buying all their air and sunlight and whatever ration of water they get.
Hopefully it's not from Nestle or all these other big companies that are, but yeah, I think it's really the pivot right now. It's coming back to it's not rocket science. In fact, this will maybe be a video because I'm not really pushing products here. I try not to, unless someone has a question or they're really curious, I can upload an ink, but it's more about the education. But one thing I've been using a lot lately that we've had for years is called a biomat. You know about a biomat? Have you heard of it?
I feel like I've heard of it. I don't know exactly what it is.
So Biomat is basically, they have the mini and they have the professional. It's a long mat, and the company's been around for a couple of decades now, but it's got black tourmaline crystal powder and amethyst. And what does that do? The black tourmaline is known when it's heated, it releases negative ions. Negative ions you can only get by a waterfall or by the ocean or something like that. Negative ions are crucial for cellular hydration, rejuvenation, and detoxification. So when you're laying on this mat, I'll just make this really quick. Maybe I'll put my link up here for those that are interested and can look more. But like for me, when I go work or if I'm doing stuff, even after the gym, right? If you're working out, it literally, you lay on this thing and it literally drops you into a theta state. And there's no EMFs because it's not running on DC, it's running on AC current. I mean, the company has done a phenomenal job. And it's great for, pets, elderly, helps with circulation, regeneration, sleep. If you have any type of calcification, oxalates, fascias bound up, like I've had this whole neck thing, when you lay on it and it's got a temperature control, and this is way before red light therapy showed up. Now, it can also be used in conjunction with red light therapy. Like I use it after a sauna because then it puts you into parasympathetic mode. So it's dealing with your whole nerve. It's like a nervous system recalibration. So you can take this, you can get a 220 volt, or you can keep it in your car. They have ones that's a mini. I have a mini, and basically you can fold it so it's on the seat and you lay it there. And it's not a heating pad. So I don't want people to get confused. It's not a heating pad. It has a heating element, like masseuses, chiropractors use it. The thing is worth its weight in gold. The company is phenomenal. And so anyway, I brought that up because, again, same thing the sun emits, the earth pulling up free, electrons, negative ions that are in the air, free electrons coming up from the earth, negative ions by the water. So if you're someone that doesn't have that luxury or isn't close to like a waterfall or somewhere where there's negative ions, those really help regenerate the body and really support the body in detoxification big time.
I have heard great things about them. However, I know that there's different ones out there. I'm sorry, what is the name of?
It's called Biomat. I'll send you, well, I'll put the link up here, but I'll send you off once we get off here. I'll send you the link. It's truly, truly.
I just want to make sure that was the brand name because Biomat almost sounds like a.
It is. It's a trademark name.
Okay.
But there are a lot of copycats that have taken it and have mimicked it, made it look. But I'm working with the original company, and it's actually several women that own the company. And then there's the distribution that manufactures it. It originated out of Korea. Their company, Richway International, is based in Honolulu, Hawaii. That's a distribution company. And then there's biomat.com. So it's a distributorship, not like an MLM, but there's people that come under you and, there's commission and all that stuff. But outside of the business model of it, the actual product itself is so legitimate. And the couple that developed this, it was a Japanese, I think it was a Japanese man. He was using, and I just found this out, and I'm going to test this out. He used to take an amethyst crystal, like probably a geode, and he would keep it in his refrigerator, and it preserved all of the food
Oh,
because
wow.
just by having the geode in the refrigerator,
Yeah.
because it's releasing all of these negative ions. I was
Wow.
like, fucking nature, man. It's
That's amazing.
remarkable.
How was there
You know?
nothing? There's no product patented for such
No,
a.
well, that was the stimulus. That was the foundation for him to come up with the whole idea of creating this mat. I mean, there's more to it. I'm still learning about it, right? I've been really diving deep into it, but we've had this mat for years.
Okay.
And I just started using it more recently. We have the mini. They have a long one that's about, I think it's close to like $2,000, and then they have a mini one that's about $700. And then if they have discounts for, like, if you're a first responder, if you're autistic, if they have discounts for it for different categorizations, a veteran, stuff like that. They give you like $100 off. But still, they have a 3-year limited warranty, and then they have an extended warranty beyond that. And like, they've never had issues. Like, they give you a 30-day trial period. If you don't like it, send it back. The typical things. But without all the promotional marketing, US bells and whistle bullshit, it's like the crux, the very foundation of this device. Everything's been very well thought. I mean, it's literally is nature in this device, because you've got, it's like all these ridges. I bring it in here and I'd show you. I'll send you. You'll see it, but it's got like all these ridges, and then there's the device that hooks it up, and then there's like a little temperature thing, right? And you can set it for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. You can do it actually for 8, because you can set the temperatures where you can sleep on it all night. You can lay on it all night. And people that have had, like, there's the typical rheumatoid arthritis, serious physiology issues, blood circulation. That's the thing that everyone's lacking right now. They've got oxalates, they've got fascia bound up, muscle tension, nervous system reset, all of this. And this device really supports that regeneration. It helps the body to reset itself, because everything's based in the nervous system. If the nervous system is freaking overloaded and shot, then everything else systemically is just like affected. The glandular, the organ system, neurological, biological, physiological, all of it. But anyway, I don't know how but it's all tied in. Biophotons, sunlight, magnetism, right? Your consciousness, awareness. So I'm bringing this all together for those of you out in YouTube land they're seeing this. Seriously, I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, and there's very rare. I only acknowledge or promote things that I've used or I've really done some deep research in. And I'm now going in. Go ahead. Question.
Sorry, question about that. The company that I was introduced to years ago, I was telling you the other day, person that I introduced you to that had a similar mat. Could have been the
Yes.
same company for all I know.
Yeah.
I believe the way they had it structured, which I thought was pretty cool. He would lend the mat out so you could try it, use it,
Yeah.
and then purchase them. Is there
Absolutely. Yeah.
a similar way that this company functions, or?
You can, I don't know per se if they have like a program like that. I think like if you have your own, or if you have an extra, people do, like, for instance, massage therapists or chiropractors have them, and they will loan them out or rent them for, like, say $50 for a week or a month, or I don't know. I don't know what the prices are. Like, practitioners do, because they I'll send you the link to the site, and I'm also going to link it here. You'll see that there's a ton of scientific data. Like, there's so much data. And they also even go into distinguishing between the fake ones from the original one, because they get very specific black tourmaline. They source it. It's proprietary. They don't reveal where they're getting it from, right? And the black tourmaline, I think, is what really generates, and the amethyst too. Oh, so caveat to this. I know we're kind of jumping around, and I'm going to have to, we'll end this in a little bit, but The amethyst also works to help amplify long, I think it's long wave, far infrared. So it's far infrared and negative ions. The combination of the two, mind blowing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I was curious when you had said it runs off of AC, not
Alternate.
DC, or
Yeah.
it's there's no EMF. I wasn't aware that one current was superior to the other when it came to emitting EMFs.
Yeah, so alternate current and direct current, I believe, and I could be wrong on this. I have to go back and look at the research, but they were saying because this device, just like any other device, right, you don't want it emitting non-native EMF electricity or leaking that. So there has to be shielding. So there is shielding in the device based on two things. One, the way that the electrical component is designed, and also two, what amethyst does. I think they were also commenting, this is research that they've tested and they've done. And again, I'll just say this is a caveat that research can also be skewed. Just so I want to put that out there. You know, people put all this prestigious research and scientism, but the ultimate thing is your own test to something like this. And the beautiful thing too is you have 30 days to give this a shot. And you will definitely know if it's for you or not for you within 30 days. Like, that's a no-brainer. However, this thing is global. And Korea, just like in German technology, you know, they are like top level as far as efficacy, integrity, transparency, authenticity, and potency. And yeah, I don't mess with anything that doesn't meet that criteria. Not to say that I am the ultimate one that does it, but I do everything I can. And if I do discover something that is off with the company or the product, then I'm sure to share that with you all. And
I can attest to that. Josh ain't messing around.
I mean, but it's like, because everybody's spending, you know, they're you know, people pay with you know, their earnings. I mean, what's the point I want to make here? It's like you want to get something that's of value, right?
Right.
And that's the bottom line. It's all about value.
And I feel like with everything, there's always knockoffs and
there are
things recently, and it's just so hard to filter what is the real deal and what isn't, and what is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing and not
exactly
making it worse, right? Because something like that could be, without this EMF shielding or something, like it could be a heating pad, but is known for emitting tons of EMFs when you're using it. So
completely. Just like electric blankets. I mean, and there's even been house fires, you know, people. So that's a concern. So when people buy this device, so like, especially elderly, like, well, you know, am I going to catch on fire? No, there's a temperature setting. There's all these protective measures involved in the development. Like I said, I'm going to put the link up. I'll get it to you guys. You can do the research, look at it, but it is phenomenal. And the other thing too, when you do this, is you got to stay hydrated, right? Because the heat is going in, it's deep, and it's like 6 to 8 centimeters penetration, so it goes deep, and that depth is based on the heating temperature. So each heating temperature, I think there's like 4 heating temperatures, and they each have a significant effect based on what you are the desired outcome you're looking to achieve. So really phenomenal. And all of these things, really, I mean, at the end of the day, we remove all the devices and the technology. We're talking about getting out in the sun, but not everybody can get out in the sun and do all this stuff, right? We're very fortunate being in Florida, or if you're close to the equator. So if you're somewhere, you know, you're in Australia, you're in, you know, Philippines, or wherever you are, where you're close to, you know, 30-degree latitude, you're able to get the UVB, the AM sunlight, which is crucial. But for those that aren't, you know, these are second to nature. You know, they really dovetail very nicely in a way that's going to be.
I've also heard that even if you don't live in a place where there is ample sunshine, like where we are, just being outside, even if it's a cloudy day, you're getting the natural light in your eye, your skin. So it's not the best, but it's better than nothing.
It is. It's true. It's absolutely true. I mean, I've got friends in Canada, that are in the upper latitudes, and there's another device that a company that I'm going to be working with soon. They sold out, and it's called Sperti, SPERTI.com, and they have a lamp, and the Sperti lamp. Whoops, my battery. Let me grab my charger because my battery is. Give me a sec.
Mhm.
Let's see. All right. This is going to be a great video. I'm like, there we go.
It looks
All
like it moves.
Charging. Wow.
Sounds good.
All right. That's better.
There we go.
Cool. Yeah. Because my battery had like 10% left.
I'm
What's up?
I'm still here, just not in frame, but I'm still.
That's okay. We're still going. So yeah, that's true. Like even if it's overcast and cloudy, the thing that I usually add too, that I've done in previous videos, is the app called DMinder. And there's other ones. That's the one I've always used. They were one of the first. But DMinder helps you regulate based on your longitude, latitude, where you're at, your zip code. The amount of vitamin D you're actually sulfating or you're getting. I think it's a couple bucks to get the professional version, but it shows you, whenever you go out in the sun, it has the Fitzpatrick scale, which the type of skin type you are, and the best time to get sun exposure. And as Jack Kruse says, you can build up your solar callus. So for all of those out there that say, "Oh, the sun is bad," no, the sun is the sun. The information you're getting is bad. And SPF, as I always say, silly people factor.
Silly people.
Yeah, it's like your skin's your largest organ. So whatever you're going to put on your skin, you should be able to put in your pie hole.
Yeah.
The S is silly now, huh? You're
stupid or silly or whatever.
Cute. That's cute.
I mean, I cringe when I see parents bring their kids to the beach here, and they got the freaking lather of the, they've done. That's another thing they've done. They have a thermography camera, because the certain chemicals. I mean, read those labels, people. Read the labels when you go to these big box stores, and they've got the hippest, slickest, coolest SPF 50. You know what? You want natural SPF? Boy, I'm going off on a tangent. SPF: raspberry seed oil, organic raspberry seed oil, wheat germ oil, carrot seed oil. Think about that. Look at plants. Those leaves are green. They're under the canopy of the sunlight every day. Why? Because they're secreting. But we're not like plants. We do photosynthesis and convert the sugar into energy. But these oils, carrot seed oil, raspberry seed oil, wheat germ oil, these are natural SPFs, if you want to call it that. They protect you from burning. But if you go out in the sun at 2:00 in the afternoon in the middle of summer, it's like taking a match and going, "Huh, the sun, the match is bad." No, the match isn't bad. You're not thinking. You're not using critical thinking, common sense. Come on.
That's why they're like, "Yeah, let's go to the beach at 11 o'clock in the middle of the summer," and it's like, "No, I'll wait till 4 and then go." So I don't have anything on my body.
Exactly. And that's you don't have to put anything on your body. You build up your solar callus. If you're someone that's really, really, you've got white skin, which is beautiful, but it's like, you just go out 20 minutes every day. Start off early in the day, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., anywhere between, say, 7 from the moment the sun comes up till maybe 11. You can go out 30 minutes on your front, 30 minutes on your back. And my advice is always, you're naked. Whenever you can. If you can't, then the least amount of clothing exposure, the best it is. And watch the health benefits happen. Boy, we covered a lot. All under the canopy of like light, water, and magnetism.
Yeah. We are going to have to boogie very quickly. We're going to my mom's to help her with some stuff today. So
cool.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad we made it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give you guys a buzz after, because I want to talk about some other stuff from last night. So, but yeah, very cool.
That's awesome,
you guys. This is a great journey. I'm going to edit this and try and figure out from where I dropped off. But
it's great to you know, we learn these things. These are things that we've been learning over the years, but it's great to have you continuously connect the dots and bring relevancy and keep us focused on things that, you know, you otherwise take for granted, and sometimes you get a little complacent with lifestyle choices, you know, but to have you keep us reined in and dedicated and disciplined, man, much love and appreciation, brother.
I'm so grateful. And you know, it's a reminder for myself too, because I'll sit here and I'll watch the replay and I'll go, damn, man, you dropped some nuggets. Why don't you kind of walk your talk at times? Because I don't always. I'm human, you know. I mean, not that that's an excuse. There's days, and I think that's a lot of time where there's a lot of misconceptions with influencers or creators or people just touting different things that they put them on a pedestal. And I always tell people, you know, if I'm working with you too, I'm like, all I can promise you is an experience. That is it. And that experience is a co-creative thing. Like, I'll deliver the information based on my experience, based on knowledge I've accumulated, things I've heard. Wherever I can, I'll give credit to those people that I learned it from, you know, not to recapitulate shit all day long, but just to, you know, that's the thing, like the scotopic retinas and the rats and mice and the light, that's so key. That's so essential. And I think that no one really thinks about that. Yeah. Not that they would.
No, that's interesting. I think that's the first time I've heard of that, or that I'm aware that I've heard of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just, to me, it makes all the difference in the world. It's like light is everything, light and sound and water and all the good stuff. So more to come. I got a lot of links and things to upload here. And this has been awesome.
All right.
Cheers, you guys. Thanks for joining. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
See ya.
Ciao, brother.
Ciao. Yeah. All right. This has been awesome. Totally appreciate you guys showing up. Hey, if you want to create your own school, I've put a link below. It's a great community, lots of fun, and earn a nice living. And if it's something you're interested in, you're tired of some of the other community platforms with censorship and, you know, advertising, none of that happening here on School. And all the things we've talked about today, I will upload links and attach documentation. Thanks for joining. This will be uploaded to YouTube. And if you haven't, check out my school page below. All right. Keep on shining. Ciao for now.